I've got blue souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs blown. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Rock bottom make the man and some pressure make a gemstone. Try to put $1 to my name like Creflo. Not the boy, late to the game, it's in the blood flow. And I'm from the south, it's thick skin and tough bone. Big attitude through big lips with gusto. Trust no kings, that's why they tried to crush souls. But it's IGBO, when the dust blow, this old head be standing there. No silver, just gold. Crack no books on the hustle, I was born to grind. Yo, I'm scared of your potential, I'm adorned with mine. 30 times around the sun, man, of course I shine. My legacy will not dwarf with time. And in my daughter's eyes, it's basic, I must not say quit. Every day sees a present like a Rob St. Nick. Walk a fine line between tenacious and patient. I can't slip, I'm fighting clocks and they can't win.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones.
Impeccably I flow, hardest raps you know, breaking status quo, reaping what I sow, artistry like Van Gogh. Get it from my mama hip, so thick that I need tempo. Personality, spicy body banging like a bongo. Cause black women been it since Timbuktu since Pharaoh. Sponge rollers and hot combs, lips, cheeks and brow bones. If you ain't for the culture, then please stay out of my zone. These little dummy rappers could never grace my headphones. See, I'm from a place in space where ain't no storytelling, you just had to have been there. If you want the battle, ain't no problem, say where. I got so much experience, I can't even play fair. But I'ma keep evolving and growing and hurting feelings and showing. You need endurance to go in, I got mileage on this pen. I've been busy cause I've been out here schooling all these kids. Took 3 decades to have this glow up that I did.
I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Count my bones as in desert crumbs flow. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. I've got bruised souls, cause I'm way gone, trying to find my way back home. Who that soldier in the mirror? Oh, oh. I'm gonna turn all of my stones. Turn all of my
Let's watch.
Come on,
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This is Lady Freedom here, coming at you with another raw narrative. And it's so good to see all of you guys on this Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Hey, Don Emery, thank you for being here. Ann Reynolds, hello, Ann Reynolds, good to see you. Deanna D, also so good to see you. And Lisa King, hey. Hey, Lisa, good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. So I was watching some video updates because I figured today's Friday and we probably need some updates on some of the cases that we've went over recently. And it got me to thinking about Miss Hannigan. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the original Annie, but Miss Hannigan runs the orphanage. She is a drunk, right? Miss Hannigan's always drunk off her ass. Like she like swims in like a bath of moonshine, right? Like there's no labels on these bottles, right? This lady is toe up, right? And she stays faded as hell, right? And she has all these little kids that she takes care of at the orphanage, right? Takes care of. I say that lightly. And this is kind of the face of, what we think that an underprivileged kid in America would be at an orphanage dealing with, some psycho, lady. Dawn Emery, I'm going to tell you, I heard, and I've heard this idiotic comment said a lot of times, that women aren't funny, that there's no women comedians that are funny. Carol Burnett, I mean, like, yeah, enough said. She's hilarious. Like she's so hilarious and performative. Like her facial expressions are just like it'll make you pee your pants, right? Just she is hilarious. So shout out to our lady comedians, and that is Carol Burnett. There's tons of them out there that are just I don't know belly laughs. Sorry about that, guys. I guess it dropped me or something. Okay, I think I'm back. Anyway, my bad. Sorry about that. But women comedians are awesome. So I just want to put that out there because I saw like a really weird comment, and also that was kind of something that is kind of triggering for me. But I won't go into detail about it. I just think it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because women are funny as hell. Carol Burnett, funny as hell. Um, and I often go to jokes when I'm feeling bad or blue or just, down in the dumps about stuff. Because when I went to go do updates, there is no update so far today about Travis Decker. So Travis Decker's remains were found and it's been all over the news, but they have not confirmed it with the medical examiner or the coroner's office as of yet. So no details about that. But I was looking up little Reneesme Yutzy because we talked about Reneesme Yutzy, and I'll bring up her picture here on this news clip that we're going to watch. And she's the one in the bow that's not blurred out, right? So these are all of these children that these two women are taking care of. They are family to these kids, right? They know the mother. These children were placed in the care of these two monsters being starved, guys. And this is the saddest part about the American horror, the true American horror stories, right? Is that these three other children were also badly starved, and they're fine to show little Renesmee's face all over the streets, right? All over the media, but for some reason they blur these other kids out, and God only knows what happens to them, and God only knows where they're going to end up. And it's just a really vicious cycle. So it's not just about, some drunk lady at the orphanage using the kids for money so she can stay faded, right? It's about what we're seeing every single day in America with children who are horrifically abused, right? We just heard details from Brittany Gosney and her boyfriend, Mr. Hamilton, Russell Hamilton, right? Because we don't want to call him James, although he does share the name of a little 6-year-old James Hutchinson, who was Brittany Gosney's actual biological child, right? And she was willing to leave her children for the dirtbag, right? And we see that all the time. In my opinion, that's what made me bring it up in the Sebastian Rogers case. Hey, Deanna, good to see you. Also, I see Denise and Leslie keeping it real. Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. So, and sorry, guys, I've been talking a whole lot. I've been trying to drink hot beverages to help, but it just got me thinking. I mean, especially when we hear some of the details in Reneesme's crime and the circumstances are exactly what we were kind of discussing in the first hour yesterday. So, true American horror stories where children are living in motel rooms. That, it's not like that little Disney show they used to have. Zach and Cody. My daughter used to watch that. It's not like the lap of luxury penthouse that these children are living in. They're not in school and they're hidden away. Who's overseeing these children besides their abusive parents? Besides the abusive people that they're given to, foster families? I don't even want to call it a foster family, because I know people that come into this chat that have been foster parents that would never dream of hurting their kids. So I don't even think it's fair to call those people like family at all. They're terrible. And poor little Reneesme Yutzy, her family was her foster family. It was really some biological or blood related family, right? That did this to this little girl. And then her mother's outraged on the news. Her biological mother is outraged on the news, but she's also to blame in the situation where this little girl fell through the cracks, right? Of the broken system of nobody caring, because when someone else is taking care of your kids, you'll do anything to better your situation so you look like a shining citizen of society, so they'll give you your kids back. You don't just like say, oh good, now I can party for a little longer, now I can fuck my boyfriend for a little longer, now I can find some more boyfriends for a little longer. No, you get your shit together. All right? Because it's disgusting and I'm sick of seeing it. And I'm sick of seeing these poor little kids falling through the cracks of a nasty system. But can we really blame CPS all the way? Because yes, they're supposed to get involved. Yes, they're supposed to help. Yes, that's what they're there for. Yes, they're being paid with our tax dollars. But that doesn't alleviate responsibility of a parent at all. And I'm sorry, guys, I'm probably gonna swear today. I'm absolutely gonna swear today. I'm gonna cuss like a sailor today, so I appreciate you, Denise. Because I know not a lot of people like that. And I understand it, and I try not to use it all the time. I try not to use profanities all the time. And I get that today it's a day show. I should probably reserve that for the late night stuff. But I'm sorry. It's getting to the point where it's so bad when we look into these cases. It's not just like an accident, right? Where little Reneesme fell and hit her head, and oh my God, we don't know what to do, and oh my gosh, or oh shit, the bathtub was running and she got in the bath and I didn't know she was in there and she drowned, or oh my God, she ran outside in the pool, gate was open and she hopped in there because she loves water. We don't typically hear that as often as we're hearing these true American horror stories. And then for whatever reason, people come out and they don't want to take responsibility for their own part in it. And they want to blame the government, the system. And I get it. Trust me. There are plenty of good examples of how CPS is a failure and how we need reform in CPS. You guys know, especially if you've been with me for a long time, you know that already. That I feel very strongly about that. And I feel like they do take children, and I think that they leave children that have special needs in the nasty abusive situations because they don't know how to handle those children. 100,000 million bajillion %. I will never deny it. I will always fight for that. Always. And I don't care what anybody says. It's the truth. And there's major issues within the system where children are getting trafficked through CPS, being bought and sold through CPS. Oh, yes. Don't get me started on children that they find at the border that are being smuggled over, and their parents think they're going to get them and they don't. Don't think that I don't realize all of the situations that are shitty with CPS. But when you're doing this to your own child, there's something wrong with you. When you can get up and talk about how you need this and you need that, and you're not worried one bit about your children, but you're using them as a shield. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I think that there needs to be an intervention at that point in time. Oh, yes, I do. Because it's not about hurt feelings. It's not about blaming innocent parents. I'm so sick and tired of that. No, it's about what are the facts and how could we help the children and how can we stop this from happening all the time. And this is what I'm going to show you guys. And this is why I'm so friggin' fired up today. Because this is purely bullshit that happened to little Reneesme Yutzy. I mean, just as cute as she can be. Yeah, some of the border babies are sold to help the families. Right. Exactly, Denise. And little children are being sexually assaulted. Little children are being trafficked. Little children are being used. Right? It's disgusting. And it needs to stop. And if we see these conditions where people are living like this, it needs to be told to the system so they can help. And unfortunately, sometimes they don't help. And I understand that, but there needs to be reform on all ends of this because parents cannot be alleviating their responsibility. It's not okay to go hang out with your friends when you have 4 kids and then give them to your family member and then say, I can't believe my family members abused my kids. Well, you obviously didn't make a very good choice now, did you? But no, you're not going to blame you won't take responsibility for that yourself. Because I've been waiting for it. Trust me, I've been waiting for it. And I gave grace at the beginning.
What we've seen appears to be intentional, completely intentional, very systemic, and over a course of a very long amount of time.
2 women accused in the horrific death of a 9-year-old girl, Reneesme Yutzy, are now charged with putting 2 of her siblings through similar abuse. Thanks for joining us at 11. I'm Josh.
So they're accused of putting 2 of the other siblings through similar abuse. We just talked about Brittany Gosney and her having a 9 and a 7-year-old in the house as well, with little 6-year-old James Hutchinson, who lost his life. The little girl survived miraculously, and now we hear that there was far more abuse in the home than originally suspected. I want to also remind everyone that little Reneesme was reported missing, right? Reported missing. I just want everybody to keep that in mind.
Taylor in tonight for Ken Rice. Courtney Yutzy and Sarah Shipley are accused of badly abusing an 11-year-old girl and nearly starving a 6-year-old boy at their home in Dunbar, Fayette County. District Attorney Mike Aubely calls it the most disturbing abuse case he's ever seen. Investigators allege the women put the 11-year-old through severe physical abuse, choking her until she passed out, beating her with a belt, and forcing her to do work around the house. They say when she complained of a sore tooth, the women pulled it out with rusty pliers.
Okay, guys, horrific. So the baby had a toothache. The little teeny tiny little baby girl had a toothache, and they pulled the motherfucker out with rusty pliers. Excuse me? Did I hear that right? Good morning. Lovely to have a cup of coffee and find out this bullcrap, right? And I'm sorry, some people might already know this. Hey, Panda's mom, Panda Bear's mom. You know, some people might already know this and might have already been outraged. I'm just getting caught up. Just getting caught up on this. And this beautiful little child and her siblings endured this from these nasty monsters. Disgusting. And wait till you find out how they got to live with these nasty monsters.
Police say the little boy was found with multiple cuts and bruises, and he had been so badly malnourished that eating could cause his death.
So he was so badly malnourished that eating something, any type of food, could have caused his death. He probably is on strictly fluids. And let me tell you something. Those bitches, yeah, they're well fed. Another pattern that we see. Those big fat piggies are fed, but the children are starved so badly that they can't even tolerate food.
Doctors refer to the abuse as torture. The additional charges are raising concerns in the community about why the abuse wasn't caught sooner and whether it could have been prevented. KDKA's Jennifer Barrett.
All right, guys. Look at these friggin' fat cows. They're eating just fine. They are eating just fine. Look at these children. Now the baby looks like she's got a little chub. That's good, right? This is what a healthy child looks like. This is what a healthy child looks like. This is what healthy adults look like. Real well fed. Look at, she even got a chin to spare. She even got a chin to spare. Look at that. Look at that chin. Look at these babies, you guys. Look at this baby's arm here. Look at this baby's arm. And what is that, a bruise, or is that a I don't know if that is a bruise or if that is something, some kind of a shadow. And then look at beautiful little Reneesme. And the only reason that they're showing her is because she's dead. She's 9 years old. 9 years old. Right? This is her family. This is their blood that did this to them. Hey, Denise. Denise says there was a time when these services were community-based, at least in Maine, and my mom is 70 and grandma took fosters. The community saw those kids, knew grandma, etc., and we moved away from that. Oh my goodness. I mean, Denise, I'm so sorry to hear that. I am so sorry to hear that, but I'm glad to hear that there was some community involvement, because it does take people to stand up and say something about this. It does. I don't care if you know the person or not. I don't care if you thought that they were a nice person before and now you're seeing this. It's got to be reported. It has got to be reported. Yeah, it's hard to stomach all of these things, Lisa. It's so hard to stomach all of what these children could have went through, and now learning the others are also abused. And it's very typical. Very, very typical. Unfortunately. Welcome in, everyone. And that's the problem, is there's definite patterns that can be witnessed, and then something can be done, right? And it's not about being mean to someone or hateful. Just because you're being truthful doesn't mean you're being hateful. But when you see healthy and then unhealthy, I mean very unhealthy, guys, There's no reason for this child to be so thin. This is the little boy they're referring to. This little boy right here. Right? Horrible. Horrible. They are demonic fat pigs. Absolutely. And see, I didn't even have to swear when I said that one. That's a good one. Thank you, Denise. Demonic fat pigs. Perfect. Uh, you know, it's so terrible. It's so sad. Hey, Brenda. It is so sad. Hey, Momming It Up. Good to see you. Yay, Mommin's here. Good to see you, Mommin. Can you believe this shit, Mommin? Thank you for becoming a new member. Welcome to the Dragon. You already were a Dragon Tribe, but welcome. Gosh, though, can you believe this? I can't believe it. Yeah, they live off the checks, Lisa King. They live off the checks, right? And, like I said, so did Miss Hannigan, right? In Annie, that movie. Yeah, she lived off the, and she had, her booze and she sat there and, was boozing it all the time and singing and being a weirdo. And the kids were not taken care of, cleaning everything, right? Having to do all the work. She'd call them little pig droppings, for anybody who hasn't seen Miss Hannigan or Carol Burnett did that part. Again, a hilarious woman in history. All right. Leslie, keeping it real, they are so sickening. And the problem is that anytime we look for updates in these true crime cases here lately where there's a missing child, if it's not a parent abduction, right, which we see those from time to time, it's mostly these parents doing this. And it's just like poor little James, what he dealt with, what Summer and her brothers dealt with. I mean, they took those kids out too. And they never gave them back because Candace and Don never tried to get them back and never tried to do anything to get them back. It's not a free pass. Oh, my kids are taken care of now. No, they're not. You don't know that. You don't know their foster family. You don't know those motherfuckers. They're not involved with you. These people were in this little beautiful little girl's life. Yeah, they were, but hey, Mimi Ma, or I'm sorry, hey, Mama, my bad. I'm so sorry. I always get you two mixed up. Brenda says, how did the dad not see the abuse? Didn't he say he watched her every day? You know, I don't know. I'm not sure if they just turned a blind eye to it or what. But like in Little Harmony Montgomery's case, Adam's uncle asked about the black eye, and Adam said, I bashed her around the house. Excuse me. Said he bashed her around the house. And then also, like Harmony, it reminded me of Harmony in this case too, where she was having to clean the toilet with her toothbrush. Yeah. Yeah. These monsters are sick. Mama, we're talking about little Reneesme Yutzy and just children in general. Right now we're talking about Reneesme, but her case is the reason for my title and everything like that, because we do see these children homeschooled, hiding in plain sight, living in hotels, going from place to place, motels, being, transient, and nobody's keeping tabs on these kids, and this is what happens because all of these children were starved. I know it's hard to see with this little one because she looks so healthy. This is such a healthy little baby right here, guys. I hope you can see my mouse, because when I'm not on camera I can't see if you guys can see me doing the mouse. This little baby, in my opinion, is perfectly healthy, beautiful. This little boy was malnourished so badly that he could not tolerate food. If he did, it would kill him. This little boy right here. Now see how thin. Look at how thin this child is. And look at the girls, no hair. Do you see that this is a punishment? And they were probably, oh, I want him to look like me. There's a Candace. No, look at her. Where is her hair? Where is her hair? They also do that to make the children look more androgynous, you guys, in order to sell them. You know, this is the world that we're living in. This is what American children are growing up in, if they even fucking survive it. Hey, Panda Bear's mom, thank you so much, sweetie, for that super sticker. My lord. Yeah, I mean, so I'm pissed again because I'm like, you know, and the thing is that we see this all the time, and the parents are so, I don't know if they're dense or what. Like, you don't get it that something's going wrong and you have to fix it and you have to better yourself and you have to do something about it. It's horrible. It's horrible, horrible. And then we're supposed to believe that this isn't, and this doesn't exist in Sebastian Rogers' case. Just because Chris and Katie says it doesn't, but we know how vile they are. It makes me absolutely sick. Hey, Renee. Renee says this case is beyond horrific. Jobs give you reviews to get a raise, but we don't check our children that they get paid to care for. That is so true. Very, very well said. And, you know, we don't have any oversight. That's one of the big problems because people are moving around, right? And they can't be found. It's like they're staying one night here, they're staying another night here, they're doing this, they're doing that. They got 4 kids, they're you know, running around doing God knows what. Sometimes it's drug related, sometimes they're just monsters. You know, I'm sick of them blaming that too. Denise says, what I mean is it was better when it was government and it was community. My mom and grandma are amazing, caring women, but the community was a community. Well, that's true too, Denise. Yeah, that's an important distinction too, because I'm not really for big government. You know, I think that it does take a community to help a community. It's just about being, you know, good humans, right? Um, it's like, you know, where I live, everybody is kind to each other. We wave to each other when we see each other. We say hello. I don't know. It is a very nice, safe community, and people make it that way. You know, you watch out for the kids, you know, because they'll be on their bikes or whatever they do, the scooters and stuff like that, riding around up to the pool, things like that. So you just kind of watch out for everyone, and you know, it's sad when people don't do that for each other, right? Oh my gosh, Denise, she is so hilarious. She's 93 years old. Oh my gosh. She is just one of my all-time favorites. Like, really look up to her. Because like she, you know, her facial expressions, she is just so funny. And, you know, whatever role she's playing, she's just so good at it. Sorry, Mama. I'm so sorry. I know. I know. It's a lot because we kind of went into a little bit of different cases as we've gone along, like in terms of Travis Decker, because his remains are quite possibly were found. We'll just say it like that. Hey Faye, good to see you. Yeah, and I mean, I think too, I'm not knocking the homeschooling. I am not, Denise. I think that some people would be great at homeschooling. I think other people are not. There's teachers for a reason. There's reasons why people get educated to become a teacher, and we have, you know, them doing that. There's also a social benefit to school, right? Now, there's pros and cons to everything. And like I said, if you're a stay-at-home mom and your husband goes out and works and you guys have that, set up, hells to the yeah. And you can do that and you can structure your children all day, right? Because there are homeschool programs out there where the kids are involved in basketball and they're involved in different sports and social groups. So yeah, if you're going to do that, it's okay to homeschool. And since the pandemic, I'll just say it that way, people kind of got used to remote learning and found maybe that it was a better fit for their family. I'm not saying that at all. I'm talking about these people who are making they're jumping into the cracks of the system. They're jumping into the cracks of the system. So that's really my whole point of this live, is that we have true American horror stories happening every single day in America, right? And if you're in a different country, guys, let me know what it's like in your country, because I don't know. I'm American. My parents were born here, right? Like, we have other like lineage that came from other places, sure, obviously. But I'm American, right? And so I don't know what goes on in other places. Hey, Robini, good to see you. Dabbing in the chat. So let me know. But what I'm seeing in America is children living in motels, children living in hell, children living homeschooled, and no one sees them. No one sees them. They don't see how skinny they are. They don't realize that this little one is perfectly fine and these ones are being tortured. This one died. Reneesme Yutzy. She died. I don't know the other little children's names because they're hiding them. Again, hiding them away. Like the community and the public is going to do more harm than these fucking monsters. Denise says, I homeschooled my 3 kids. 2 served in the U.S. and 1 in the Army. You're welcome. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Denise, too. And, and that's the thing. I'm not knocking people for doing anything that they choose to do, right? How they choose to raise their family is not up to me. But what I'm saying is that as long as I have a platform to raise awareness for these children and fight for these children, not this one, right? She's not a child. She's not a child. These are grown ass women. And until those grown ass women want to raise up good families and not kill one of them and starve them and torture them, then I'm going to stick up for the kids and not feel bad for the parents at all. And I don't feel bad about hurting any of you guys' feelings either on this. Like I said, this is probably going to be a live that people are not going to really like. They're going to get upset about it, right? They're going to be upset about it because, and if you feel offended by this live, you might look at what is going on within yourself. Because if you don't feel sorry for these children who were so badly abused that they almost died, but their sibling, they watched their little sibling die, choking on her own vomit, I think you should be more offended about that than anything I have to say. Sorry. Thank you, Mama. Thank you so much. And thank you for being a member for a month. I really appreciate you. Well, and there are great programs, Denise. There are great programs. Look, when I worked at hotels, I was an event coordinator and we did homeschool events because they would come and stay at the hotels because they were playing sports with the other school, with the other homeschoolers, excuse me. And so I got to know a lot of the kids, a lot of the parents, and I have a lot of experiences with homeschool kids on a different level than some people would, right? I got my ass chewed for the homeschool kids before. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that out there. Right. So what I'm saying is, and that's the kind of thing that you want to do when you do a homeschool, because that way the children aren't hidden away living in some motel, right? Homeschooled and not even really being educated properly, right? You're trying to prepare your child for the world, right? Because at some point your child's going to go out there, need to get a job, need to know how to handle themselves socially, right? And it's only fair to them to give them the best advantages. My niece homeschools her 3 kids. Her oldest is in second year in college and adopted 2 little ones. Yeah, and that's great, Panda Bear's mom. And I'm sure it does work out for some people. You know, I've worked with like a lot of families that were really, really nice. Like I said, I got my ass chewed out for some of them because they were very unruly. Like I've never seen kids act in my life. I was like, oh boy, here we go. Here we go. And the phone call went like this, your kids. And I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, these are not my kids. You mean the homeschoolers that are staying with us? Because they wrecked the room. They wrecked a couple rooms. I think they were foster parents and it makes them even worse. Yeah, Faye, so these people are actually their family members. Like this is a family member or this one's a family member. I'm not quite sure because like I said, all I did was watch a few update videos about the situation and it prompted me to talk about a true American horror story because it's not just these children. I mean, it was James Hutchinson's biological mother that did this to him and her other 2 children, and she used the help of her boyfriend, not a biological father at all to any of the children. And she was told to, like, by him, oh, go leave your children or I'm kicking all of you guys out. And so she went and left her children and killed one of them. Little James Hutchinson's never been found, right? Reneesme Yutzy was found, thank God. Hopefully they could lay her properly to rest. I don't know what they've done for this poor little girl. I know that Justin has planted a tree in her honor. Thank you to Justin from Clutch Them Pearls. Lisa King says, I feel this little girl was homeschooled to hide the abuse. Thank you, Lisa King. I finally have someone who agrees with me and doesn't want to give me a fairy story about homeschool. Look, I'm not talking about the good people here, guys. I'm talking about monsters. I'm talking about the people that probably inspired the movie Annie, right? Inspired the character Carol Burnett played, Miss Hannigan, right? Calling the kids little pig droppings, abusing them, starving them, making them work, making them do all of their dirty work for them, not taking care of these children. They did not want these children out in the public. I agree with that. Because if anybody out in the public would have seen these children, they would have known that these children were being abused. The moment that I showed Reneesme Yutzy, everyone in my chat said, that's a 9-year-old. She looks malnourished. Oh my God. What? She went missing? Oh, she was seen at 2 a.m., last seen at 2 a.m. in the neighborhood? Oh my God. Yeah. Guys, these are tough subjects that we're going to talk about on this channel. This is not going to be always fun to talk about. And it's not to personally jab at anyone. It's about the patterns that we see in true crime, right? It's about the patterns that we're seeing every single day. These are true American horror stories, much scarier than anything that we could ever imagine watching on a big screen, right? Every single day, there are children being systematically starved and beaten to death. And we only find out about it when one of them succumbs to the torture. And I'm so tired of it. Because I would have loved to have heard a different story. Like, oh no, these two, let me get the pointer. These two are just very overwhelmed mothers, and oh my God, oh, these poor women, they took on too many kids. They didn't know what the hell to do. No, they were systematically torturing, starving, and abusing these children to the point that one of them cannot tolerate food. I will keep on saying it. It's disgusting. And they were being homeschooled, right? So no one could see them. So no one could help. So they had no type of resources that they could get out of this situation. It's terrible. And it's happening every single day. Hey, Veronica, good to see you. It's happening every single day. Thank you, Christy. Hey, Chuchi. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's terrible. It's terrible. Like, you know, Denise Harris says my ex-daughter-in-law homeschooled, right, with air quotes, and totally abused them. My nephew has full custody now. Yeah, and see, that's the thing. I'm so glad that they survived it, Denise? And that's the thing. I was talking about it yesterday. These kids are our future if they can survive what they're going through. And what kind of adults are going to be raised when they're so traumatized at such a young age? I mean, these are things that people are doing deliberately, guys. It's not overwhelmed. It's not no money. It's not because of this or that or anything else. It's gross, you know? There's no foster care system in Greece, Faye. I didn't know that. They just have orphanages. And please, guys, share your experiences in different countries, right? Like, we're not here to talk about the sunshine and rainbows with the kids when we're talking about little baby Reneesme Yutzy. And I know she's 9 years old, but like she looks like she's like 6 to me. Like when I look at that little girl, I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, these children in the world, our future. Why hurt them? Shaking my head. It's terrible. They haven't said anything about the little brother. These are all like all the ones that I could find too, Rabini, were mostly from like I think 12 and 13 days ago. So they're all pretty old. I know that they finally charged let me get the pointer thing. This other one because they initially she was the only one that was charged, now she's being charged. Because they realized that there was systematic abuse happening in the household finally. Thank you, Denise. Yeah. And I know I hate swearing, like that's the worst thing up here. I mean, I do it all the time in real life, but I'm just saying, like, when I'm up here, I'm trying not to swear a lot. But I mean, I just get so mad about what is going on, and it's like, and then people are like, well, what about CPS? Well, what about the parents? And what about the community? But then it's like, how does the community see it, or CPS? How are they notified? Either way. And when CPS puts the children in this situation, I get it. Trust me, I do. And adoptions are difficult, Faye says. Yeah. And see, that's another problem, you know, because there's a lot of people out there that would love to have, that would love to foster a child, but you have to meet like certain criteria. And especially like I know if you're single and stuff like that, but I mean, um, you're less likely. They want to place children with families, and I understand that. Yeah, they're abusing and using the system. Exactly, Robini. Yeah, and I'm not talking about the good people. I'm not. That is not on my radar. I'm not saying like do away with homeschooling, you know. Um, but I think when you can do everything at home and then nobody sees the kids ever out, I mean, it's a whole nother dynamic. Also, it's important to have like like community involvement in terms of like whenever the PTA does put on little things at the school, like an ornament making night, or any of those little things that can come, a chili cook off that brings people together where people can see people in the community out and about. It's not a reason to be a Karen or whatever, or a big snitch or anything. But I mean, it's a good way to see that, okay, this baby looks healthy. These two cows are perfectly fine. But what about this little guy? He's not doing so hot. And then look at this child. Looks like a female, but she's just no hair. Oh, but look at little Reneesme. She's 9 years old and looks 6. And again, no hair. And that's a punishment, guys. Those are extreme punishments that are being done at home, and people are calling it homeschool. Last time I checked, that's not okay. And it is. I'm so sick of it too, Christy. I'm so sick of the abuse. They can't get over it. And y'all don't be mad to my girl. Love you, lady. No, I mean, and I don't want people to think that I'm saying homeschooling is so bad. Because I'm telling you, I said it, I don't know. I think it was like when we were going over the Minnesota school shooting at the Catholic Church. I was like, holy cow, made me rethink, like, if I had children now that were going to school, would I homeschool them? Would I attempt to homeschool them? And again, during the pandemic, a lot of people realized that worked better for their family, if that makes sense. So especially if you only have one child or something, or even, because I don't know, if you have like 6 kids and they're all in different grades, like how do you, blah. And guys, I wanted to be a teacher, like I wanted to be a teacher. So I'm like, that's a lot of like curriculum to get through in different age groups and stuff. And I get that there's online now. I get that. Cece says, I'm homeschooling and I don't like it, but due to circumstances, I have to do what needs to be done. I'm sure others rock it. Yeah, some people do, I'm sure, Cece. Thank you for sharing too. Yeah, I'm sure people are very good at it, especially if they can do a structured environment. Right? Like if you have a dedicated, like say if you had a basement or something, and this is going to sound terrible, but I mean, bear with me on this idea. But like if you had a basement where you could put like little desks and stuff, and and then you had like a backyard that had playground stuff so they could do like a proper recess, and and get that structure in, because that's one thing that is a pro about school, is that you can, it's a structured environment for kids, with people who are educated, and they're supposed to have the best interests of kids in mind. Now, don't get me wrong. I said it's not a perfect solution, in my opinion, either, because we do have school officials that are disgusting, right? And people, again, falling through the cracks of the system. That is a true, example of that happening. So I completely understand that part of it, and I know that we see left and right that the schools are failing kids, and that there's school shootings, and that there's bullying issues and all of that. But again, I think it's important for children to get out in the world as well and understand things a little bit more, in a social environment. Hey, Holly S. Good to see you. Thanks, Cece, for being here. I appreciate you. Yeah, and like I said, I'm not talking about the good people. And I'm not talking about the people that it works for, or that they get together uh, and involve the kids socially. These two women in the picture make me sick, and they are weak individuals, in my opinion, for them to hurt children. Yeah, I mean, and that's what it comes down to. And they probably were doing it for the paycheck and not for helping the children, or wanting, because they couldn't have children. I mean, obviously I'm not trying to be a jerk. They're two women. Faye says we can't homeschool. Public education is obligated here. Oh, okay. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Faye, thank you again. Wow, that's interesting. So there's no options for homeschool. Like here, there is a lot of options for homeschool, Faye. And I did want to, preface that too. Like there's different ways of doing it, you know. Um, and if you're, like I said, if you have the resources, or like, I mean, say you went to school and you're a teacher yourself, but you started a family and you have 4 kids, you're going to be a lot better at structuring out a day of, having a game plan for everything. A lesson plan is what they call it, and stuff like that. So you're going to be able to do those things that other people are not aware of. It's also time management, right? And then I don't know, guys. Okay, for me, it would be like overwhelming, in my opinion, And then if you only have one, like my daughter was an only child for a long time. I don't have any other children. Her dad does. But I'm just saying, like, I think it would just be overwhelming for both of us to just be there all day together. And then, no, it's just hard when it's an only child, right? You want to socialize them, you want them to get out, meet friends, and that's why, like, when she was 3.5, she started preschool. So she could meet other kids, and she did, and she loved it. But, of course I cried on the first day, and it was hard. It was awful. I probably cried more than she did. Holly S says these problematic homeschoolers are going to mess it up for the good ones. Thank you, Holly S. I love that. These problematic homeschoolers. That's hilarious. No, but it's true. You know, it's the truth. Just like Denise said, I did a good job at it, and and she knows people, and Panda Bear's mom, and I'm like, yeah, there are good people that know how to do it. Problematic is a good word, and that's what they are, problematic homeschoolers. Oh my goodness. Well, that's it. It is a moral bankruptcy, and it's like it does allow for them to do it. Denise, you're so right. Um, Yeah, and I don't understand it either. And a lot of it does, I think, have to do with the money that they're getting, and everything. And sometimes, some parents are really good too about getting kids out into nature and doing different experiments and things like that you wouldn't really be able to do. It is more one-on-one, right? And then also some kids do better at online, especially as they get older. I tried to do online classes and I liked in-person learning way better. So I don't know if you guys have ever tried to do um like online courses versus in-person teaching, somebody teaching you, somebody you can ask a question to, whatever. I'm better with that. I'm like more of a hands-on visual, like, I don't know, person. So there's different learning styles to consider as well, which would make it equally stressful if you're dealing with different ages and kids and bah. Yeah. Holly S says, I've been hearing a lot of these cases lately and people adopting kids and then unaliving them. Yes. And it's like a lot of these cases are so similar in the dynamic, right? Because, like I said, these kids were also being homeschooled. The state was involved, the mother didn't have custody. There was all of these things, right, that were, and it's not a free pass. Like if you don't have custody, then you need to get it back. Like you need to work on yourself. Like what's with these parents being like, well, I don't know what happened, years later. And I know Crystal Sorey has been drugged, and honestly, if it wasn't for her, Harmony probably wouldn't have been reported missing when she was. So we're gonna put that out there just to say it, but it's still not an excuse. Years and years, and she kept having kids, and then Jameson's here with these 2 guys, and then you got Harmony falling through, getting put with teardrop. You know, it's disgusting. And it is a true American horror story. Yeah, she looks like 4 years old. She's so little. And look at the little guy. He's probably like 6, you know? And the only healthy one is the baby and the two nasty monsters. Cece says, I'm not knocking homeschool at all. Hope nobody was offended. Yeah, I know. No, no, no. That's what I was saying though. But I'm like, if you guys are offended though, it might be bad to listen to this live because this is a pattern that we're seeing. And I don't want people to think that, they have to sit here and listen about it if they don't want to. But these are the patterns that I want to talk about because it's over and over and over again that we see this. It's not just like one or two times with, in history that, oh man, this homeschooling didn't work. Usually it works like a charm. No. And it's not a one size fits all either, because like I said, there's different learning styles. Children have different needs. If you have multiple children, you know, Cece, don't feel bad. My daughter did competitive gymnastics, and I tried homeschooling her because that was the thing to do back then, and we did not even last a semester. Yes, I can see myself doing that too. But that's the thing too. Uh, Competitive sports do take up a lot of time, so I can understand that becoming an option. But that's the thing, Holly S. When you're doing things like that with your kids, and you know, conditioning them for something that they enjoy doing and that's going to be positive in their life, like you don't see these kind of dynamics, right? So that is completely a whole different ball game, in my opinion. So yeah, Chuchi, we need to talk about the tough subjects because it's a reality in my opinion. Yeah. Hey, Cinderella. No, you're so right, Chuchi, and that's what's going to be hard about listening to this channel sometimes, is because I will get into subjects where I'm not trying to offend people at all. And I never try to say like definitively one way or the other, because I do believe that there's gray areas, and I don't know everything. But when I look at these cases and I say, okay, in this column we have homeschooling, and this column we have, or I'll say in this column it's homeschooling that works, and this one it doesn't. More check marks are in the one that doesn't, and it's not a bad thing. And even Holly S saying, I tried it and it didn't work, is like really like strong, right? Because if you try something and it doesn't work, that's all right too. Like sometimes these people are forcing a situation like these two. It's like they're obviously overwhelmed and they're obviously doing extreme harsh punishments to these children. That's a little girl here standing here, malnourished, right? This is a little girl. Renesmee's a little girl. They put a bow in her hair and let everybody know. This little girl's got plenty of hair and she's a baby. She's got more hair than this little girl and this little girl, right? And then this little boy is starved so bad that he can't tolerate food or he'll die. Yeah, I think it's important to talk about it, Chuchi, or at least like for people to think about, because yeah, Chuchi says we might have our own opinions about these tough subjects, but it needs to come to the surface because it's a reality that's going on in our world. Yeah, and it's affecting the kids, right? And then the people are like, well, how could you call on those parents? That's so horrible. Or, hey, they came to my house and I'm really upset because they came by and looked in the fridge and all of that stuff. Well, that's okay though. At least they're checking. It's not always a horrible situation, but if you saw these kids at the grocery store, I mean, it's a telltale sign. And that's even if they got to go to the grocery store. Because that's my whole point. They never get to go anywhere. They're homeschooled and they're stuck at home. Like it's more like home prison, right? Because they're not going to the grocery store. They're not at the park playing with other kids where other mothers can observe them. Because if other mothers could observe them, they'd say, holy cow, this little baby looks real healthy and these other three are something is terribly wrong. And it has nothing to do with the fact that these two women are together. That has nothing to do with it. Zero. Because they could have done a good job if they were good people. So I have no that's not even on my radar. Holly S says my friend teaches special ed and said a few kids were unaccounted for after COVID. Yeah, yeah. And see, that's what I'm thinking, that some people would homeschool after COVID if it fit better, right? But then you see people that exploit their children with special needs all the time, right? And I don't want to turn it into a bash session, but if you guys, you guys probably don't have to think really far off to figure out who I'm talking about. I've had like really dry skin too down here. I don't know if it's like, I don't know. I've been using extra lotion, Denise, too. But I'm not fully used to the climate here in Florida. I love it though. It's beautiful. It is beautiful. And in my opinion, the system CPS should be more involved in children's growing. Faye, and the thing is with CPS is they're very overworked, underpaid. Did I say underworked? Overworked and underpaid. Sorry, I want to make sure I said that correctly. They just are. And then the resources are dried up. People use the system, abuse the system, and that's the major problem too. And again, you don't just get on welfare and stay on it forever. You get on it to get on your feet, and then you don't need it anymore, right? This case looks like the case of those women who drove their adopted kids off the cliff. Oh my God, Holly S. Yes. Yes. But remember though, those ladies were taking those little kids to festivals and like rallies. Oh my gosh. And the kid would be like hugging the officer crying, and they had pictures of it. Like that was so fucked up. I'm sorry. Again, today's going to be a swearing day. That was so fucked up to see that. Like, literally, they were out in the community. Like, they were a part of this large community, and it was, oh my gosh, yes. And they made the kids, like, basically entertain everybody. It was weird. And they wanted to post them all over Facebook, and, Renee says these children had bruises on their face and other pictures. Where were people around them? The parents need to start being charged. Who allows this? If we see something, we say something. That's right, Renee. Thank you so much, and I agree completely. And that's the thing. I don't think that people were around the children. I think they just got custody of the children, and you know they just kind of homeschool, like I said, hid them away, homeschooling them, and nobody probably saw them, is my guess. I mean, I wonder if the neighbors saw them outside, and I did not know about the other bruises on their faces. And sometimes the news blurs that out for that reason too, and it drives me bananas because I'm like, why? Why? We need to see it. We need to, as the public, we need to be aware, because some people might look at this photo and say, "Oh, they had two boys and two little girls." Right? And that's what that's exactly what the picture is almost looking like it's conveying, right? Boys on this side and girls on this side. What in the flying fuck is that about? Thank you for saying that, Renee, because that just, made me re-examine, what we're looking at here. Renee says, in my opinion, thank you. Thank you for covering and bringing awareness. We need this. Thank you. Thanks, Renee. And I know it's hard to listen to. I get it. But I was not expecting this kind of an update, I guess. I mean, I know people were saying some things, but I always try to kind of look and process things out myself before I get too upset about things, that I don't know about. Yeah. The picture of the 2-year-old boy with the grandparents. Yeah, see, I need to go and look more into it too. But I looked at a few clips and I had enough information to say, oh gosh, here are all the patterns that we see in true crime. Chi says, in my opinion, these two just wanted a paycheck. Yep, I get it. I completely understand that. Put a price on their children. Yeah, the little boy looks younger too, Leslie. Exactly. Yeah. Looks like he's like 3 or 4, not 6. And he's got to be somewhere around there, older than the little girl, and maybe they were starving them to make them look a certain way. Like, like they're sick friggin' people. They are so sick. It's for the money, Veronica says. Yep. Yep. It always goes back to that one too, you know? Chuchi says, "Thank God I had the best foster parents who actually really cared, because there are some foster homes out there that are just looking for the paycheck." And that's a thing too. It's sad for the foster parents who do a good job. Again, like the homeschooling moms and dads. I don't know if dads do it a lot, guys. I don't know. I was just trying to add them in there. But homeschooling parents, right, versus foster parents. So I mean, yeah, it's not fair to them, right? And then people, like Faye was saying, they don't allow for that in Greece. Maybe that's why, right? Because they feel like there's too many kids out there that aren't being overseen, right? And it's so sad, right? Faye says, yes, we have orphanages. It is so sad. I've done a lot of research into different orphanages too. But I never heard of the ones in Greece. I did a lot of research on Russian orphanages. And there were so many cases of Russian babies that were brought over to America and adopted by Americans, that they decided that they won't adopt Russian babies to Americans anymore, is what one of the documentaries I was watching said. I remember that. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Tina Girl says it costs way too much to adopt. It is crazy. I agree, Tina Girl. Thanks for being here. Yeah, it is. It's they make it impossible for someone, because it's not about how much money you have, it's about the love, right? And I'm not saying like, if you can't afford to have a kid, give them to people just because they love kids. No, I mean, I'm saying, you know, money isn't everything. These kids, that's all they want, is to be loved. That's it. They want to be loved, accepted, feel safe. That's it. You know? Robini says that must have changed a lot, Veronica, because when my parents fostered, they didn't even give them enough for proper wardrobe. Right. Yeah. I mean, I know. And see, that's the thing too. They don't, sometimes they're not getting a lot to take care of the kids, and they take it out on the kids, Robini. I get what you're saying. Absolutely. Absolutely. Or they feel like they're entitled to get more money. Miss Hannigan was like that too. Oh, I can't believe I take care of these kids. Like I said, we see it in the movie, there it's depicted in the movie, but you know, I think that a lot of the reasons why people make movies and stories like this is because they're deriving it from real life. Veronica says, "Feel free, they're young. Feel free, they're your feelings, and I would also probably have worse swearing or be swearing worse. I get outraged about children being abused." I do too, Veronica. And that was the thing. Like, the more news clips I was watching, I'm like, oh, hell no. Oh my gosh. And, also, I'm still a little bit, well, I can't even say a little bit hurt, but I'm still hurting from James Hutchinson's case. Listening to what happened to him and his sisters, horrible. Miss Ann, I hope you get a chance to relax. Just relax for a little bit. Wow. 10 over 10 times. Oh my gosh, and nothing ever happened. Yeah, and that's a thing too, because we do see that, and see, that's a system failure, you know? That's a system failure, and that to me is different. Hey, Mama Bear. Thank you. Thank you, momming it up, for your 4.99 super sticker. Says, or super chat. Please like, share. Miss ya. My schedule went upside down, but it's calming down now. I'm always catching the replays. Oh, yay. Yay, mommin. I was gonna give you a call this weekend, because I know I was the same way. My whole blah, everything was like, it's been crazy busy, and true crime and catching up on everything. And I'm way behind on a lot of stuff. Hey, Tony Fire, good to see you. Sorry, guys, I'm so behind in chat. Hey, YouTubers here, welcome in, you guys. I am so behind in chat. Let me get a little bit caught up, and we'll watch the rest of this clip. But this is
Brasso has been looking into it and joins us live from UPMC Children's Hospital, where one of those children is recovering.
Josh, a lot of questions tonight. I did leave a message for Gina Diaria. She's the Fayette County CYS director. I have not heard back yet. Now, I did talk to DA Mike Abel. He tells me that investigators will be digging into how this happened and trying to prevent this from ever happening again. A community in mourning and outrage over who failed 9-year-old Reneesme Yutzy. Her caregivers, Courtney Yutzy and Sarah Shipley, were charged last week with criminal homicide, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence in her death. Her body was found in a garbage bag in the Yawk River. Fayette County DA Mike Abel believes a lot of people are to blame, from her biological parents to family friends and to her caregivers. He believes CYS was the least culpable. Do you know how Reneesme was placed into this home?
The information that I have, and there's been a long history of family issues involving drugs, sexual offenders, deplorable conditions. It's pretty clear, at least from what I've seen, that there has just been years and years of failures with family with this child.
Abel said,
okay, guys, so I have to stop here, and I'm gonna say, this guy does have a heart. I watched him. He was very emotional talking about this case. One of the worst they've ever seen is what they were saying too. But the CPS being less culpable, if they put if they kept placing these children with family members and they knew that there was this horrific history of sex offenders, right? Katie Proudfoot, right? Okay, guys, trigger warning. Thank you, YouTubers here. Thank you so much. Trigger warning. And I am pissed today. I'm going to get really mad over here. I don't know what's going to happen. I might self-destruct. But no, I mean, it's like, what the hell is going on here? Right? Oh, they're the least culpable. Bullshit, they're the least culpable. If there was a family of all of these people that were horrible around these children, why did you put them with the children? I mean, come on now. We love you too, Denise. Thank you guys for being here. I know this is tough. And I know this is disgusting, disturbing, nasty. But please, this guy needs to rethink that statement, in my opinion, because those social workers are supposed to be there to help.
Says Reneesme was placed in the care of blood relatives here in this Dunbar home at least a year ago. Abel says 4 other kids lived here. He says at least some were her siblings and they were homeschooled. Did the biological
And they were homeschooled. I mean, this is what pissed me off the most. Right there, I was like, oh, here we go. And this is, this is me just like, oh boy, just trying to get an update here.
Parents of Reneesme want to try to get her back into their custody, as far as you know?
To my understanding, no. I mean, even after permanent legal custody is established, we have a court system. You can file custody actions. You're entitled to get a mediation after 45 days. You got to pay a fee and you got to do some paperwork. I have no evidence that ever happened.
Wow. So her mother got the children were taken away and she does nothing to try to get them back. Guys, I mean, there I have to agree with this gentleman, right? I'm about 50-50 with this guy now because I'm going, yeah. It's the parents. The parents get the child taken away, but they do nothing to try to get the kids back. Nothing. Right? She left them. Oh, I thought they were going to be okay. They're not. They need you.
If any family members were checking in regularly on Reneesme and her siblings.
We believe there was contact with family members. So that's something that we're looking into.
Abel said at some point supervision ended with CYS. He says nobody in the family really raised much of an objection to it.
My understanding is that this case was closed over a year ago, meaning that basically the court system had found this home to be appropriate and that there weren't checks being performed.
It's unclear who decided that Courtney Yutzy and Sarah Shipley were the best home for Reneesme. Now, Reneesme's mother tells me that she last saw her daughter in September 2021, and she says that Shipley prevented her from seeing her. KDK has not confirmed that information. She also tells me the little boy in Children's Hospital is indeed her son. Now, DA Mike Abel telling me that his office and law enforcement will have a meeting with CYS that is required by law to go over the facts of the case. CYS, he says, will pull their records, the visits, and they will interview caseworkers. In Pittsburgh, Jennifer Barrasso, KDK TV News.
Okay, guys, there you have it. Now we're going to play the mom, right? This was 13 days ago. Okay. Don't show her any hate or
Rasmussen University
anything
provided
crazy,
a
but
lot of support in a myriad of ways. Being able
it's terrible. It's terrible, that these kids have to deal with this. But I have to agree with that guy in some respects. I think that it's absolutely CPS is a system failure on their part, but I also have to look at the parent that had these children taken away, and did nothing to try to get them back. Zero.
The caregivers that Kelly mentioned, Courtney and Sarah Shipley, they are, while also the legal guardians of Reneesme, they're also related to the biological family of Reneesme. And that family, according to the mother, Christina Benedetto, the biological mother, she was working on a custody agreement to try and see Reneesme and her other kids more often. Now that family is devastated to know that that won't happen for Reneesme.
It hurts. I'm torn apart inside. I can't have my baby back. Not the way I wanted her.
Who you just heard from there was Reneesme's biological grandmother. She helped raise Reneesme with Christina Benedetto, her biological mom. After Christina became addicted to drugs when she was in her early 20s, she gave Reneesme and her other children's guardianship over to Sarah Shipley and Courtney Yutzy. After Reneesme's death this week, several family members are coming together to not just grieve tonight, but to be Reneesme's voice going forward.
I just want my daughter to have what she is supposed to have.
All right, guys, you know what? What about the other kids? What about the other children? Look, Reneesme passed away. That's the saddest, most horrible outcome that could have happened. But what about the other kids? And what are you going to do to be their voice? And what are you going to do to get them back? Christina Benedetto, biological mother. What are you going to do? And Denise, maybe that's what's really struck a chord with me with little Reneesme Yutzy, is because she does remind me of Summer Wells. And she does her siblings remind me of Summer Wells is having the short haircuts like this when they're little girls. I can't imagine being a little girl and having my mother strip me of my hair or make me dance in front of a barrel for sale. She's just gone. Candace, dummy. $500,000 reward through At Night, guys, for any information on Summer Wells leading to the conviction, right? Same for Sebastian Rogers.
What she should have had while she was on Earth. And I will forever be grateful to every single person who is screaming justice for my Reneesme. And they kept her from me. They lied to me. There will never be closure.
All right, guys. All she needed to do, like the gentleman said, was fight for those kids And I get it. They don't make it easy. I get it. She would have had to jump through hoops. I get it. She would have had to have clean drug tests. I get it. But what about the kids? What is she going to do to get the kids' name back now? Oh, yes, it's Reneesme, so it's Reneesme. And her last name is Yutzy. It's so gross. Hey, Scranton Strangler, good to see you, hon. It's terrible. Terrible, 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 terrible. Right?
And you can see trying to be Reneesme's voice is even shown here on the vehicles of those loved ones. Justice for Reneesme and other messages on many vehicles here tonight at the candlelight vigil, which is going to start at 6 o'clock here in Dunbar. We'll have a report from that tonight from Jordan Siopa at 11, covering Fayette County.
I hope that she gets herself together and gets her babies back, because she's the only one. And I hope she learned the lesson that she's the only one that's going to love them like they deserve to be loved. Right? Right? Oh, Candace's kitchen. Bleh. You know, Faye? Terrible. When they went into that little cove, that little nook, oh my Lord. It's from the Twilight movie. Yeah, Robini. It is. It is. That's what the vampire that's what the vampires named the I'm just laughing because my daughter loves it, loves those vampire books. But the vampires named their baby Reneesme. It is a beautiful name too, Denise. It really is. And a beautiful little girl. It's just so sad, you know? Let me see. I think we watched that one already. Let me see if I could go back. You know, and he says that it appears to be completely intentional, and I would agree with that. All right, here's another one.
We begin, though, with Chris Hoffman tracking break. Chris.
Ken, sources say Sarah Shipley will be charged. We're told she is recovering from an overdose this morning. Other children in the home, as well as the biological mother of Reneesme Yutzy, say Shipley knew about the alleged abuse of the young girl because she lived in this home. Police spoke with Shipley on Wednesday night. Now, she told investigators she put the kids to bed at 11 on Tuesday night. When she woke up the next morning, she alleges Reneesme was gone. Reneesme's mother, Christina Benedetto, is outraged.
There is no way my cousin Sarah didn't know. They lived together. She was with the kids 24/7. There's no reason for this.
According to police, Shipley's story was one of the other children in the home told her Reneesme talked about running off. Benedetto is heartbroken that someone she trusted with the care of her child is connected to her death.
I learned all.
Okay, so Reneesme said that she was going to run off. This little girl said she was going to run off. I do not blame her one bit. I'd want to run off too if I had those big old cows abusing me and I was only a teeny tiny little person. Disgusting. And I share the mother's outrage, but she needs to do more. She needs to step the fuck up. If she's going to sit there and complain about all of this and act so outraged, I hope that she makes a better life for the other children who survived this horror.
Hard life lesson. You can't trust even the closest people to you. Closest people to you. Can't trust even the lesson. You can't trust even. I learned a hard life lesson. You can't trust even the closest people to you. I grew up with Sarah. Courtney was Reneesme's blood cousin also.
Okay, so did you guys hear that? They are big old cows. Dang. You know, and she's so teeny tiny. I'd be trying to run away too. Well, she can't get Renesmee back now. This should make her work harder than ever to get her other children back, in my opinion. Yes, Chuchi, she has to. That would be the biggest success story if she did. And I'll be praying for her that she does learn a life lesson here. But that ship has sailed. That ship is long gone. You thought. No. If they were keeping, and this is the thing where her story isn't adding up, guys. If they were keeping her away from her children, right? Then they weren't the best of people. Then she knew right then and there. That's when you go and you file a family access motion or something like that. Whatever it is in the state. In order for you to have contact with your children, you go immediately to the courthouse, and you don't need a lawyer to do that. You figure out what you need to file and you get it filed. Otherwise, this is what happens, right? Because if they're keeping the kids from you and you know that you're not a bad person and you don't have any ill intentions, you just want to know how your kids are doing, and these people are keeping them. I don't care if you grew up with them. I don't care if you lived with them. I don't care if you came out of them. You don't mess with that kind of stuff. You don't allow for that kind of stuff, because that means that the children are being abused more likely than not. And if they're not good, oh, well, thank God for that. I would rather do something and find out about it than be sitting here dumbfounded. Well, I don't know what happened. They wouldn't let me see her, so oh well, I just went out with my boyfriends. No. It's too much. And these kids are falling through the cracks, and then you want to sit there and blame the system? I don't think so. Yeah, they have I don't know if that's her other daughter or like a friend, Robini, I'm not sure. She had several other like women around her, and I don't know if those are her friends, or family members. I heard something about her ODing after this happened. Yes, Cece, I did. I have a screenshot of it somewhere. So, just horrific. Just really, really horrific. I'd run away too. Oh, okay, the partner did. That's right, Robini. That's what it was. I was just looking through my through my screenshots. That's it. Yep. Yeah, the nasty partner, the one that looks, that was wearing the hat that looks more like a guy. Not the one that was arrested originally. Yeah, no, it wasn't the mama. It wasn't the biological. I'll do the pointer. It wasn't the biological mom. No, no. The life partner OD'd. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the blonde lady with the longer hair was arrested. Hey, Mama Bear, idle hands do the devil's work. Oh, amen, sister. Couldn't be more true in the majority of these tragic losses of so many children by parents living off the system. I agree. And there's one thing about getting the help when you need it, and it's another thing living off of the system. 100%, Mama Bear. Yeah, she lived and she was arrested too. Yep, sure was. Sure was. Thank you, Panda Bear's mom. Justice for Renesmee Yutzy. I'm sorry, guys. I call her Yutzy, but I think it's Yutzy. Miss Benedetto, what you gonna do for the others? You need to get your butt in gear and work really hard. I agree, and I believe in her that she can do it, Chuchi. I do. I believe in this young lady that she can do this. But we're gonna be a little hard on her today because we haven't been, and there's some things that we've seen that I think it's warranted. And then for any other mother out there, if you're watching this and you lost your baby, do not let them take your baby from you, your babies from you. Work your ass off and prove to them that you're better than that. Prove it, and don't ever let somebody make you feel like you don't deserve to have what God gave you, which is your beautiful children who are a gift. Chuchi says, exactly, lady. I would have went to the courts, not wait until something happens, in my opinion. Right. You go right to the courts. If they're keeping, look, we see it too many times. Look at what happened with Harmony. Adam was keeping her from Crystal because he knew that if she saw, bruises and things, or if she saw the change, that Crystal was going to at least say something, right? Because Crystal did try to keep involved with the kids, but she had drug dependency issues, right? Hey, Sasha, good to see you, hon. I wondered if it was the one that spoke to the cops. Yeah, I'm not sure. Bio sounds like a real winner. Yeah, she needs to step it up. Oh, she needs to step it up and stop blaming people, because honestly, her story doesn't align with what she's saying, you know? Oh, Robini, she made the kids call her dad and the other one mom. Right. And in my opinion, when we look back at the family photo, they were trying to make it look like they had two boys and two girls, but the other little girl was a girl. That's very fucking concerning. That is beyond concerning. No way. Especially because every little girl, well, most little girls like to be a princess. And it makes me so sad, and it reminds me of beautiful Summer. Oh yeah, Summer always liked to go to the one lady at the church because, she was so well dressed and she liked her hair. Oh yeah, of course. Because Summer wanted to be a princess too. But they took her hair multiple times. Multiple times. It also speaks to SA. It also speaks to extreme punishments. It also speaks to dehumanizing and taking something away from a beautiful little girl. It's disgusting. She needs to take them classes to get the kids back, and she does. She needs to start jumping through the hoops, So Cece says that she's been in 4 rehabs in 18 months. Oh, good God Almighty! The adoption and the genetic predisposition. Well, and if she had been in 4 rehabs in 18 months, then why is this mother, the biological mother, complaining and act with this deer in the headlights? Little. Oh, I had no idea. Bullshit. Bullshit.
She was 9. She wouldn't have left her siblings by choice.
Investigators spoke with one of the other children in Shipley's home. They say Shipley and Yutzy yelled and kicked Reneesme in the stomach and then spoke about taking her to a river, quote, far, far away before taking the victim away in a garbage bag and tote.
I am outraged.
That child allegedly told police Reneesme, quote, is dead now. I'm never going to see her again.
Oh, here's the picture, guys.
The other 3 children are Shipley's mother. According to Benedetto, she plans to fight for control of them. Now
she plans to fight for control of them. She needs to fight to be a mother to them. They need a mother. They don't need to be controlled. They had 2 bitches controlling them this whole time. She needs to be a mother. She needs to show those kids love. She needs to make them feel safe. She needs to let them know that she's never going to leave them again. Sick. Needs control over them. Oh, Lord. Cece says, no, Lady Freedom, my adopted son. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Thanks, Cece. Oh, it's just outrageous. You do live in the Pittsburgh area, Tina? My goodness. I just can't believe how devastating this has to be for people. Hey, Lolo. It's so sad. It's so sad, Faye. It breaks my heart. It just breaks my heart. Here's something positive that we'll end on.
Community has set up Reneesme Yutzy. We're learning she loved the colors pink and purple, unicorns, mermaids, and playing with baby dolls. The community.
Oh, she's just a little princess, you guys. She likes pink and purple, right? So don't tell me she wanted that short haircut, that buzz cut that she had. She loves pink and purple. right? Unicorns. She loves playing with her baby dolls. She liked mothering her little baby dolls. Absolutely devastating.
The community remembering so that Reneesme or another child in this community will not be forgotten again.
What about the children that were in the home with Reneesme who were just as badly abused, but they survived it? Not to take away from her at all. I'm just saying we can't get a one-track mind on this.
She absolutely loves strawberry ice cream in an ice cream cone. I have served her many of those. And when I realized who it was, it crushed me. To think that something this heinous can happen here is incredibly scary.
A community shocked and devastated.
Her young life was stolen at the hands of the people who were supposed to protect her.
100%, guys. And I don't know if they have that law or that stipulation in place, but I 100% think that when someone is in a position of trust, they should get extra jail time for that. That should be brownie points on that.
9-year-old Reneesme Yutzy was found dead in the Youghiogheny River near Smithton early Thursday morning. That was hours after days after she died. Both her court-ordered custodian and live-in caretaker have been charged with homicide and multiple other charges in connection with her death.
The child that I knew was beautiful and loving and kind, a fierce protector of her siblings, a beautiful soul.
While hundreds came to honor her at a candlelight vigil, many people in attendance did not know Reneesme.
It's time to ask the hard questions, guys. No child should be overlooked.
The community asking themselves, why?
That's exactly right, guys. No child should be overlooked, and these other children should not be forgotten. Dunbar, Fayette County, do not fail these other children who survived this horror.
Why did none of us notice that something was wrong? And then they made a call to action.
This isn't the end.
Let's remember Reneesme. Let's remember these children. And let's remember that if you see something, say something.
The district attorney says they are continuing to investigate and that justice will be served. He's just asking the community to be patient. Covering Fayette County and Dunbar, I'm Felicity Taylor, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
Sorry, guys. Okay, so I'm not sure if there is any updates on the two little boys, or excuse me, the little boy and the sister. The two sisters and the little boy. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like everything's from about 10 days out. Let me see, maybe this one update. Okay, lawmaker, here's another positive. 10 days ago,
New tonight at 11 o'clock.
a lawmaker reintroduces child protection bill following death of Reneesme Yutzy. Here we go.
Pennsylvania lawmaker is pushing for legislation to make child torture a criminal offense in the Commonwealth. It comes following the death
Wait a minute, child torture is not a criminal offense in the Commonwealth? Wait, what?
of Reneesme Yutzy in Fayette County last week. The charge would be levied against any person who knowingly or recklessly tortures a child under the age of 18 who is within their custody or control. After the girl was found dead last week, the 4 other juveniles she lived with were taken by Fayette County Child Youth Services into foster care and were all evaluated. One of those evaluations led to the hospitalization of a 6-year-old with bruises and signs of neglect.
All right, guys, so he was 6 years old. He was 6 years old. But he looked like he was like 3 or 4. Horrible. Yes, Sasha, they did find the remains of Travis Decker, just not completely confirmed. And it was about a mile away from where the girls were found dead. Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia.
And today, new charges against caregivers Sarah Shipley and Courtney Yutzy.
Look at those two little raunches. Would you just look at them? Mama Bear says many parents shave their children's heads because of an infestation of lice. I agree. Problem is it continues to be an infestation because they don't treat all linen and clothes properly. So the lice keeps coming back. Yeah, I agree, Mama Bear. And it's easy for kids to get lice at school and stuff like that. That's what I was wondering when I very first saw Summer Wells. I thought, I wonder if she's got lice or something, and that's why, because there was many pictures of her where her hair was in different stages of growth, right? But then we also see this in Extreme Punishments, you know? So the Harrow baby Harrow has not been found yet. He has not been found. And actually, I did want to share with you guys. Thank you so much, Sasha. I want to share with you guys on the Tierra. He was on with Vinnie Politan. Give me 1 second. And we'll play this.
We will look at everything in this case, from how these children came into their care to whether children were in their care before, and to how we can try to prevent something like this from happening again.
All of the children have been placed in a foster home outside of Fayette County that is not connected to their families. New tonight at 11 o'clock.
Okay, guys. So Tina Girl, I don't know how he was overlooked. I do not know how he was overlooked. And the odd thing is he was found right by where the girls were located. So what were left by him, excuse me. So what I think happened, honestly, is that hold on 1 second. Sorry, guys. What I think happened with Travis Decker is that he was out in the woods the whole time. Like, he did this to the girls and then he went out into the woods. Now, there was blood evidence found on his vehicle, and it did come back to being his blood, right? And then he walked off into the woods. So I think he was trying to throw authorities off. I think his master plan was to take the girls' life and then take his own life. Like I said, yeah, because he wasn't found far from there, and from everything that's been stated, I believe that he was probably, it's a very strong possibility that he was probably out there the entire time, yes, and just overlooked, in my opinion. So yeah, because I was wondering, how big of a head start they had and everything like that. But give me 1 second here. All right, on the Tira, let's see, we got, I think it was a short. Yeah, it was a short. Okay, hold on. Whoopsie daisy. And I wanted you guys to hear this, because on the Tierra, he is on the case, right? Like, he has been covering the case like boots on the ground, right? Give me a second here and let me share this over here. But Vinny had him on the show. Listen carefully to what he says. This is very interesting.
Bring in the founder of On the Tierra News, Ahmed Bellozo, our friend who's been covering this case on his TikTok platform and other places on social media. Ahmed, great to see you tonight. How are you feeling, first of all? You feeling good?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Thank you, Vinny, for having me, and Court TV as well.
What are your thoughts tonight? Do you believe little Emmanuel will ever be found?
Our hope, obviously, is that, yes, he will be found. In what state, is a different question altogether. We are thoroughly prepared now for the recovery portion of this investigation. Authorities are not telling us anything. We continue with our leads, and the same way they're not telling us, we're not telling them neither.
All right, guys. He cracks me up. Hey, little Miss Sharon, good to see you. Definitely go and sub up to On the Tierra, guys. He is hilarious. He makes me laugh. I will share this link here really quick with you guys. So you could go watch it because I'm probably going to do a little bit of commentary in between. But sub up. I think he's more on TikTok, but now he's transitioning over to YouTube. So really hilarious, right? And then he just brings a lot of energy to the cases. And so but this is so interesting what he has to say. And like I said, he's been boots on the ground, but he's like, yeah, they're not telling us anything. I'm not going to tell them anything either. So yeah. Little Miss Sharon, Jen Coffindaffer said Decker was found 1 mile from the girls. Yeah. So I think he probably, had this all very well planned out. And then, all of his search histories and everything that he left on his phone was pointing to, him going to Canada. So, hey, Retha Bell, he's so funny. Yeah, I like the way he says it too. It's funny how he puts it just matter of fact like that,
Expand on that a little bit, Ahmed. What do you mean?
It's been a month, as you said now, and we were so willingly helping and trying to share information. It has become some sort of a slap in the face now that any information that we have now, we are trying to piece this case together ourselves. And when I talk about we, I'm talking about me.
Give me your reaction. And were you surprised when in that press conference they came out and they said, listen, we don't want the public searching for this child. I've covered dozens of these stories. Take me back to Orlando. Kaylee Marie Anthony is missing. And the whole community was out. Maya Miliete in San Diego. The whole community coming together and searching. And here they're saying don't search.
As I said earlier, right now I'm working on the search for a missing person, Joseph Aranda, here in Victorville. The police have been actively working on his case here in San Bernardino County. The lead investigator has been on vacation for 3 weeks now, and we have new leads, and we can't even get them to him because he hasn't came back. And so we understand that,
Wow. So lead investigators on a vacation for 3 weeks, but has no one handling the active leads. Interesting.
things get lost in the shuffle due to time, and his vacation with his family was probably planned before what happened with Joseph Aranda here in Victorville. But we have no leads to talk to a supervisor above him, and so right now they're telling us not to look, but he ain't looked. Obviously, in the Emmanuel case, we don't know who's looking, we don't know who's on vacation, we don't know what leads they have, and so if you're not gonna tell us where we're at, then we're gonna go out there and look for ourselves, because this man, and God bless him, the deputy from San Bernardino County, who's the lead investigator in this case of Joseph Aranda, is on vacation, and we can't get a hold of him, and we have active leads that we're down in the riverbed right now today because we're trying to find this man, and we have new leads, and we don't know who to give them to because the San Bernardino County Sheriff won't call us back because they don't want our help.
Right, guys. So San Bernardino County is the county that is overseeing baby Emmanuel's case.
So it's like a catch-22. We're in a pickle. It's very frustrating. Emmanuel, I have new leads, bro, but who do I share it with? You two, so everybody can shred it up and destroy it? No,
Yeah.
And so I understand when people withhold information, because I have vital information right now regarding Jake, and we'll get into that obviously.
Absolutely.
But
Hold that thought, Ahmed.
Right. Okay. Ahmed, he is great, guys. You're welcome, Retha Bell. Thank you for being here to listen, guys. I really appreciate all of you guys being here to listen, hitting the like button, conversating in the chat, and just, going over these cases, Yeah, Sasha, exactly. Bly shaved her head again that day. Boy's hair was long, not buying it. Boom. I don't buy it either. Exactly. But we need to do better, guys, and we need to call this stuff out when we see it. We need to call the authorities when we see this stuff, because these kids do not deserve to be in these situations, right? It's not just the mean old lady at the orphanage, right? It's the parents. It's the family members who are entrusted to take care of little Reneesme Yutzy. It is, well, happy Saturday, little Miss Sharon. And it's up to the parents to not use government funded and run institutions to raise their kids because they want to go get high or go date their boyfriends and their girlfriends, right? That's not what it's for. What it's for is to identify when there is abuse, neglect, or extreme punishments, or starvation, or systematic torture, and to take the children out of that environment, right? Some of these children live with roaches crawling all over, bugs in their hair, right? Like we were talking about just a little while ago. They live with feces all over the place. They live with no food in the refrigerator. It's ridiculous. And like I said, a big majority of these children are homeschooled, where no one can see them, where no one knows. I think people that do turn it in over and over and nothing gets done just eventually give up. I agree with that, Robini. That's a good point. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because it does get tiring, right? And how many times can you do it? And then all of a sudden, the parents are getting pissed off at you because you reported them, right? I get it. I totally get it. But the problem that we see here is that if anybody was to really even take one look at that family photo, and I'm sure it was on Facebook, right? They would see exactly what is going on there, right? And maybe we need to do more awareness about identifying things like that. Like, let's take a look at this picture and see what's wrong with it. Let me take a regular, nice partnership, right? And it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about people being gay or not. That's not what I'm talking about. Or I don't mean to say it like that. LGBTQ. That's probably better. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is let's take a nice family versus this family, and let's look at these pictures and compare them, and let's circle the differences, so to speak, right? Because anybody could just look at that photo and know that there was something wrong there. Those children were severely malnourished, right? And a lot of times, when you see a little kid, right, and you're like talking to them, say they're your neighbor, and they're riding their bike past and they say, "Oh, can I pet your dog or something?" And you're like, "Oh, most of the time I have to say they can't pet Django because he's not nice." But I'll say, "No, honey, you can't pet the dog because sometimes he's not very nice, and everything." And then I'll say, "Oh, how old are you?" or something. You make a conversation with a kid. But look, when the little kid says, "I'm 9 years old," and she looks like she's 6, 4, 5, 6. I mean, there's something terribly wrong there. That child's undernourished. That child is not. That's called failure to thrive. And what about the well visits? Where are these kids getting evaluated by the medical professionals? It's absolutely insane. Hey, Deafening Silence, good to see you. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I really appreciate you. Little Miss Sharon says, "It amazes me that we live in a world that humans think it's okay to hurt children." I know, Little Miss Sharon. I do too. Like, I was thinking that too. Like, what are these fucking monsters' days like, What do they just wake up in the morning, they have their cup of coffee, they're like, "Yeah, I'm feeling like starting my day. They're like, let's go beat the kids." Like, what the hell is that? Is that I mean, that's a reality for some of these folks. That's a reality for the children, right? That's why I was like, true American horror stories right there. Because it is. It's like you would think this would be a scary movie, right? Made to scare people. It's real life. It does. I'm sure it does feel pointless. Yeah. like 40 times to turn it into CPS. Or, those people are abusing their children, and then they move away and you're like, oh crap, right? Like what happens to the kids? But a lot of times people don't even really know that this is going on. I mean, the one guy says, oh yeah, I served her, her strawberry ice cream cones, a bunch of times, and he didn't notice it, right? Because people are afraid to say something, or people are saying, oh, well, they're just skinny kids. I mean, those kids were malnourished. That's beyond a skinny kid. And if you call it in and it's nothing, well, then that's better than, not calling it in, and then you see it on the news and you're like, oh my God, that's the little girl that I served ice cream to. Oh my God. Because I can't imagine what that poor guy's going through. That's terrible to know that, And it should be obvious to CPS. Why can't, I mean, is that what we need, Rob Beanie, is to do a comparison picture for them and circle the differences? This is wrong. And again, it's not about a same-sex marriage or relationship. It has nothing to do with that. I think two people that love each other, that would love the kids, is one thing. That has nothing to do with the other, right? But that could be another reason why people are afraid to turn it in. Well, I don't want to seem like I'm anti-LGBTQ. Well, too fucking bad. The kids matter. Again, I don't feel sorry for the parents. They're grown-ass people. They can handle it. You have to be thick-skinned to be LGBTQ, first of all. Okay? Let's just put that out there. But if you see these kids, that's all right, Robbie. Some days I can't even talk or read. I'm like, oh boy. But yeah, no, I mean, like, it's just wild. It's wild. And then people will say, well, why are you being hard on them? They're, because of this. No, it's not. Look, they were making that other little girl look like a straight boy. They put the bow in the other little girl's hair, even though she had no hair. She looked like a baby. Were they keeping the kids small because they wanted designer kids and they wanted their family photo to look what they think is picture perfect? Well, they're fucking distorted. They're demented. Clearly, you could see it in the family photo. Some people can eat and eat. Leslie, keeping it real. Talk about keeping it real, girlfriend. I know. Some people don't have to watch their weight at all, right? They eat it up, and people are like, where do you put it? Spread that love all over that. Yeah. And that's all these kids need is love, Robini. That's all they need is love and someone to care for them and give them the basic necessities. Love, a roof over their head, food, clothes. That's it. That's all kids really need. I've heard many, many stories about people who grew up in poverty and had beautiful childhoods and wouldn't trade it for a rich ass childhood in a second because they had love. And I know tons and tons of stories about rich kids that come from a family that didn't have love, and they would rather have been poor than dirt and had the love and had the community and had the praise that they deserved and the attention that they deserved. Uh-oh, Denise says, praise yeehaw, they found Travis Decker. What? Did they confirm it, Denise? Alicia Hotwell says, in the bushes, home from the appointment I have. Oh, yay. Okay, great. Listening in on it. All right. Thanks, Alicia Hotwells. Thank you for being here. I hope everything went well. But Bullhorn Betty was correct. That doesn't surprise me. I'm late making her birthday video. And I knew she was traveling, so I didn't want to bug her, but I'm going to be posting that too this weekend because I'm going to be playing some catch up, hopefully. Lady, half the time CPS says they can't see anything to act upon. Sometimes I wonder what the actual criteria is for them to do something. I agree with that deafening silence. And we talked about it earlier too. I touched on a little bit. It seems like when these kids have any type of, whatever they want to call it, I call it a different ability. They have different abilities. They might say it's a disability, but whatever issues or challenges these children may have, it seems like the more that they have challenges they have, the more CPS just keeps them with the family because Oh, well, they know him better than anybody. Well, you know, you need to get to know them and you need to help them because they don't deserve to live like that. You know, it reminds me of that little boy living in filth with prescription bottles and drug paraphernalia everywhere, all over the house. You know, roaches all over, feces all over, just filth. Living in filth with his mother. CPS had been out multiple times and then they found him deceased, right? Autistic, nonverbal, little child, just about to turn 6 years old. Was so smart that he had been communicating over a device, his cell phone, since he was 2 years old. He could read and write. Autistic, nonverbal. They kept him in the house. We talked about him when I first started going live last, what was it, around December. So December and January. And it's absolutely disgusting. The mother was never charged. Her tire tracks were found near his body. Right? So sad. Ooh, yay. I love fresh bedding. Hey, Detroit Rock City. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for listening. I'm sorry, guys. This one was like, I got wild today on Friday. Woo! But I saw the update for Little Renesmee and it really got to me. And I think there's several factors. And I think a lot of it has to do with the patterns we're seeing and what we're trying to talk about here on the channel and how I can get the message out there. Sometimes it's not as well executed as I'd like it to be. Denise says, I believe Travis Decker shot himself in the stomach. Interesting. There was blood found on the back tailgate of his truck that did match to his blood, right? So he could have, and then he just walked into the woods like the dog he is. No offense to dogs, right? But wouldn't they have found a blood trail of his? That's what I'm wondering. See, it's very bizarre that it was found so close to the bodies. I wasn't banking on that. I thought he would have made it farther, but obviously he didn't. He's not as great of an outdoorsman as he made himself out to be, right? I like Kiss, Denise Harris. I'll wear my Kiss shirt. I have a Kiss shirt. Both Summer and Sebastian had CPS knocking on their doors, little Miss Sharon. 100%. They sure did. They sure did. How awful. Yay, happy birthday, Betty, says Sasha. Thanks, Sasha. Thank you so much, little Miss Sharon. Yeah, and it's so sad. And I think that really, Renesmee really reminds me so much of Summer. So much. I know that feeling. I have family who will support financially, throw money at it, but actually support emotionally or care for the kids for a minute. No help there. I would rather the latter. Right. Because people have basic needs, deafening silence. And I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. Just basic needs are love, belonging, food, shelter, clothing. It's the very least that we can do for these children. They are sick fugs, Sasha. They sure are. Yeah, it's not helping. They probably don't use the money for the kids, huh? Yeah, it's terrible. Oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Anne. Well, Miss Sharon says I'm sniffing my blankie. You guys are funny. Yeah, she is a beautiful girl. Panda Bear's mom, I've been up since 3 a.m. doing research on Devlin. Finally went to bed shortly after. Still had it when I got up this morning. Now I'm accepting a messenger text from Devlin's bio mom. Oh, good. Good, Panda Bear's mom. I want to get together with you too this weekend if you have some time to get together on that for us to do a panel. I looked up Devlin. Let me share Devlin really quick, guys. Oh. Uno momento, por favor. Let me get this all. Okay. Oh, here we go. Because it was a couple of posts back. All right, here's Devlin. He's got the best smile too, guys. He's a sweetheart. I can tell. All right, so Devlin Lee Hatfield Tate, there's a $6,000 reward for information, right? And let me click on the post. He is missing. Devlin Tate, 18, has been missing since April 21st, 2025. He was last seen at Carl's Supermarket in Lake Odessa, Michigan around 8:21 a.m. Devlin was on foot and wearing a black zip-up sweatshirt, white t-shirt, blue jeans, and black cowboy boots. His hair is brown. He's got brown eyes. He's 6 foot tall and he weighs 170 pounds. Devlin is diagnosed with autism, ADHD, cerebral palsy, Tourette's, and has a chromosome deletion. If you have any information about Devlin's whereabouts, please call 911 or contact the Loena, I hope I say that right, County Sheriff's Office at 616-527-5737. 616-527-5737. Any information about Devlin's whereabouts, guys, Devlin Tate. And he is 18 years old, went missing April 21st, 2025. So not terribly long ago, but long enough. There's a $6,000 reward out for information leading to his whereabouts. And correct me if I'm wrong on anything, Panda Bear's mom. Cinderella, I was always bee laundry when in the trees. Oh yeah, it's nice to have it outside, Cinderella. Denise, my mom got it from Temu. Ooh, I don't ever shop on Temu. I haven't anyways. I heard there's some really cute clothes and stuff on there. All right, guys. Well, I will see you guys all tomorrow night. I think I'm going to skip the night show tonight and then do the night shows Saturday, Sunday. So we will do that because I won't do day shows during the weekend a whole lot unless I get the opportunity or something breaks. I love you all so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you all so much for being here with me and listening to my rant. But I do think that we need to do better in America for these children. I am sick of the American horror stories that we see every single day when we turn on YouTube or when we are listening to local news. It's just, we need to establish what these patterns are, and we maybe need to find out some better solutions. And maybe if we talk about it, maybe there will be some good social workers out there. Maybe we'll put a bug in people's ear, whatever we can do. You're absolutely welcome, Panda Bear's mom. If you did not, I got your email. I'm going to email you. I'll just email you, hun. So yeah. Yes. You're so welcome, little Miss Sharon. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad you spent your Saturday morning with me. And Ann Reynolds, I hope you feel better soon, Miss Ann. Robini, thank you so much for being here. Denise, both of our Denises that were in the chat today. Also, let's see. Oh, Leslie keeping it real. Love Leslie keeping it real. And Cinderella, thank you guys so much for being here. And you guys all take care. Deafening silence. Thank you so much. Our friend Sasha, our great friend Sasha. We love Sasha in Detroit Rock City. We love our Detroit Rock City too. And Alicia Hot Wheels. Thank you so much, you guys. Really, really appreciate you. And I will see you this weekend. Retha Bell and Tina Girl and Faye. Thank you so much, Faye, for all of your insight on how it works in Greece. I loved having you in the chat to share that insight. Chuchi, thank you so much. Working on that spreadsheet. Oh, my Lord. Mama Bear. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.